In our last class, we talked about discipline. There, we defined discipline and made mention of the attributes of discipline. Today, we'll be talking about courage. By the end of today's lesson, I expect you to define courage, state and explain the types of courage, and also state the attributes of a courageous person. So please listen attentively while the class goes on. Courage is the ability to do something that you know is right or good, even though it is dangerous, frightening, or very difficult. It is the exercise of boldness in carrying out positive activities in the community without minding the challenges involved, either positively or negatively. Courage is also known as bravery. A student who is bent on following his or her dreams to pursue his education to the university level despite peer pressure shows courage. As we can see on the screen, the young girl is trying to read, possibly preparing for an exam. You see what her friends are doing. They are trying to deprive her from reading. Parent who resists the temptation to spend money on something that serves no useful purpose and concentrates on his child's education shows courage. A farmer who tills the land to cultivate crops also shows courage. There is courage in speaking our mind, whether other people agree with us or not. There is courage in following public rules and laws, to obey rules and regulations. All of these requires courage. We can also show courage to resist social vices like corruption, cultism, examination malpractice, drug addiction, drug trafficking in our society today. A courageous person is afraid, recognizes his fear, and goes on to do what he or she believes is right. Now let's talk about the various types of courage we have. That's what we'll be discussing next. We will be talking about 5 types of courage today. We have the physical courage, moral courage, spiritual courage, academic courage, and mental courage. Let's begin with physical courage. Physical courage. This has to do with the use of our strength to do what we intend to do, despite the pains involved. It involves the use of our physical boldness, energy, and other abilities to get things done in the face of pain that accompanies the task. These can be seen among soldiers who go to war to defend their country. The second is moral courage. Moral courage. This is the ability to choose what is right, irrespective of pressure to do otherwise. It is the ability to act rightly in face of popular opposition, shame, scandal, or discouragement. Students are expected to display moral courage in the face of peer group pressure and influence. Youth exposed to social vices such as cultism, examination malpractices, drug addiction, and alcoholism. Only Only those with moral courage would be able to resist the pressure and temptation from peer groups. Moral courage involves obeying rules and regulations. The courage to follow public rules and regulations and insist that other people follow them is an example of moral courage. We now move over to spiritual courage. What is spiritual courage? This is the courage to exhibit one's spiritual faith and live according to its tenets. It takes courage to obey the religious tenets and injunctions without being forced to do them. Spiritual courage entails having self-control and determination to act according to one's religious beliefs. It does not mean killing people who are not practicing our own religion. The next on the list is academic courage. What is academic courage? It is the ability to face one's study with total vigor and doggedness. It means to be devoted and committed to one's book. It means to read and succeed instead of cheating to pass. And lastly, we have mental courage. What is mental courage? Mental courage means having a good state of mind, thinking positive, and looking towards achieving good results. That is what mental courage is all about. Let's switch over to the attributes of a courageous person. Attributes of courageous persons. A courageous person shows confidence and is not afraid of people, pain, or challenges. Secondly, a courageous person is brave. When it comes to taking decisions, a courageous person shows bravery in taking decisions and in actions. Then number 3, a courageous person shows commitment to what he wants to achieve without minding the pains involved. That's the attitude of a courageous person. And the fourth one, a courageous person has the ability to endure. And the fifth, a courageous person shows determination and steadfastness. So a courageous person is usually diligent. That means he is hardworking. He puts much care and effort in all that he does. So let's try as individuals to be courageous. It will go a long way to improve our course of life. In today's class, we've seen the definition of courage, where we say courage is the ability to do something that you know is right or good, even though it is dangerous, frightening, or very difficult. We also made mention of the types of courage. We made mention of about 5 types of courage, where we explain each and every one of them: academic courage, spiritual courage, and the list goes on. We still went ahead to talk about the attributes of a courageous person. We could remember that I talked about diligence. A courageous person is hardworking, and a courageous person is brave. So let's try our best to be courageous. So this is where we'll come to the end of today's class. On the screen, you see some questions. What is courage? State and explain the types of courage. State the attributes of a courageous person. So please, I would love you to put down the answers to these questions inside your notebook so that when we come to class, we can discuss these questions and the answers together. So please, ensure you listen to the video very well and put down the correct answers. Thank you and hope to see you in the next class. Have a lovely day.